If you are anything like me, you will plan ahead and do some DIY homemade gifts, for your friends and your family. And you have to do them 6 months in advance. And then 6 months later, you don't even remember you did them. And you go out and buy them something. And then you find the gifts that you made 6 months ago. And it happens to the best of us. It happens to me regularly. Or you just completely forget to do it. And then you're kicking yourself come December. But I'm here to rescue you so that you can make some amazing DIY gifts for your friends and family who love to bake and cook. Today, we are going to do some extracts, 4 different kinds. And I have all kinds of fun stuff for you during this. So let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness. And no, I have not taken up drinking, okay? I was actually like, where do I get half gallons of vodka? Okay, and for this, the really good news is that it doesn't have to be expensive vodka. And it makes some amazing, amazing extracts. We're going to do it super fast, especially if you have an Instant Pot. That is the key right there. I had to test it out. I had to try it out to make sure that it worked. And so I grabbed a bunch of little jars and I made a bunch of extracts. I am so happy about this, but now I am giving extract to like everybody I know. This stuff will not go bad. It is just as good. Technically, in my opinion, one of them better than if you let it sit for 6 months. And it's done in a couple of hours. That's all you need to do. Let me show you what kind of fun we're going to get into today. Welcome to my workstation, my laboratory. Okay, but in all seriousness, this is where all the fun happens, and I've had to create this whole system for in and out. And at some point, I'll be putting my sling back on, so forgive me for that one. Today, we are going to make 4 different kinds of extracts, and we're going to do it in like 2 hours. Yes, from start to finish. So I'm going to show you what we're doing here, and we are going to have so much fun. You will need either a nice cotton cloth, not a nice one, an old one, or some cheesecloth, muslin, something like that. You'll need a strainer, and then these come in handy. I love 4 jars funnel system. I totally love it. And so that's what I use for that. If you have saved any of your old lids, then this is a great use for them because you are not looking to can them per se, okay? But you will need those. You will need some jars. My only disclaimer here is that this is a 10-quart Instant Pot that they had available, I think, for less than 2 years. And so it's not available anymore. So if, depending on the size of your Instant Pot, your jars, the quantity of jars may vary. I do know that a quart Instant Pot will not fit in here. So pints are the way to go. Absolutely. And you're going to need some vodka. I sent Phil on a run for this one. And I said cheap. I just need cheap. That's it. Just cheap vodka. And so he picked this up, and here it's a half a gallon. And I'm like, did they make gallons? No, apparently not. But anyway, a half a gallon, and I think it was like $11 or $12. Okay, so yes, you've got this. Now, when I did the experiment, look at that color. I used 8-ounce jars. So you do you. The cool part about the 8-ounce jars is that you can gift them in these, make a nice covering, like a cloth covering, or decorate it somehow, whatever. You can totally make them in this. But what I have found is that I tend to have a little bit of siphoning, and I'm not sure why. So I'm going to do them in pint jars and then transfer them into bottles. Yes. I will leave links for everything down below. So I have 3 absolute favorite kinds of extracts, and then one that I thought would be a lot of fun and that I can see using in a bunch of different baking situations. So we're going to get started with that. Okay, so to get this party started, we are going to make cinnamon extract. Why in the world would I want cinnamon extract? Because if you're making any kind of baked good, like cinnamon rolls, or that has cinnamon in it, using this instead of vanilla, oh my gosh, it's just crazy. So what you're going to need though is a cinnamon stick, and I try to pick out the heftiest ones out of the container. Now we normally buy it in bulk, a whole bunch of different cinnamon. And so I just go in there and go, which one of you is the fattest? Because you're the one that's going to go for a swim. And then we take our pint jars and I only put one. You really don't need more than one, So that makes it a lot easier. I could have preset myself up and taken this plastic thing off. Okay. So we're going to fill it up to the 1-inch headspace mark, right underneath the threads. And we are gonna mess with your mind something serious if you are one of my home canners, because this puts a whole new spin on finger tight. You're gonna take your lids, old or new. I've got some old ones, so that's what I'm using. And then we are going to put these on. The trick here is you want to put them on just so that they stay. Okay. I mean, this is so loose that if you tried to can this, it'd blow off in the canner. Do you know what I mean? So literally you're just threading it on there so that it stays. Look at all that give. Okay. That's the way you want it, because we are not canning it. Okay. We are just processing it. And so these are the cinnamon ones. And there we go. Just, yep, like that. And now we're going to move on to the next ones. So for the next two, we're going to do a coffee extract. I'm a coffee lover. I'm very serious about my love of coffee. So this to me was perfect, because the uses for this are just unbelievable. I did have to go get some whole beans. You need whole beans for this, okay? And I just got, this was on sale for $10. So I got it. And I'm going to put about a quarter. There we go. I'll just split this bag here. But honestly, these are, a pint is 2 cups. And I don't have a cup worth in there. Maybe a half a cup of beans. That's what you're going to put in there. And then what are we going to do? We're going to top it off with some vodka. And this is going to just make you the happiest person in the world. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing again. Old lids. Okay. And then we're going to do the super loose finger tight. See, if you can lift it up, then it's not on. But you don't want it screwed all the way down either. And there we go. So now these are going to go in. So we have cinnamon and we have coffee. Okay. And again, your mileage may vary depending on the size of your Instant Pot as to how many you can actually get done, Next, we are going to do some chocolate extract. Yes, you heard me correctly. Chocolate extract, because life is too short to not have more chocolate. Absolutely. So how do you make chocolate extract? With cacao nibs. That's how you make chocolate extract. And that is what they look like. Here we go. And if you were to put these in your mouth, you would be remarkably unhappy with the entire situation. Okay. Number one, they are rock hard, but they're also bitter. So, no. But this cacao is how they make chocolate. And so when these get done, it will, there we go. You will have a chocolate extract. I'm never going to get those out of there. There I am. Come on. That's what I get for using that funnel. Okay. So we're going to put about the same amount. About, how much of a mess can I make? About a half a cup in the bottom of a pint jar. So obviously, if you're using an 8-ounce jar, you're going to use less. And am I measuring? No, I'm not measuring. But in this instance, it's just easier to transfer it. Here we go. Okay, and we're going to add you. Okay, that's done. And then this one. And I will leave links, all pertinent links down below for you. But I love having cacao nibs on hand for a multitude of things. The flavor is not to be beat, my friends. Good stuff. Okay, and so now we are going to add the vodka. Same thing, same level. So we get, well, I had a little bit in the other one. So figure about, yeah, you know, always get extra. How's that? Don't ask me to math. Don't ask me to math today. Chocolate extract. What can you use chocolate extract for? So many good things. And remember, you know, vanilla extract, it's sweet and it's good and I get it. But sometimes you could use just a little extra punch, you know? And that is what these other extracts help with too, to enrich flavor. And I have a whole list for you that we will get to as soon as I get these going to show you what you can use them all for. And these are, if you have a baker or if you have a cook, because yeah, it's not all about baking. Extracts are great for home cooks. Isn't everybody a home cook? Not necessarily anymore. Okay, and I need to do 2 more because yes, there's vanilla. I don't know about you, but I go through a whole bunch of vanilla extract because I measure with my heart, not with a recipe. So these were on sale during Prime, not Prime, thank you, during, you know, all the Black Friday, all that nonsense. So I picked up 2 bags of these because I knew for sure I was going to use one for this, but 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, thank you. But I wanted some extra for backup for later for some other stuff. So you're going to take your beans. Let me bring you down here. Okay, you're going to take your beans. Be very careful. Have a sharp knife, okay? And you're just going to slit them down the middle. Okay, that just honestly helps with the flavor. It allows the vanilla that's inside the pod to get out. You'll actually see it in the jar. We put 4 beans per pint. Now, the reason that I'm going, in my mind, heavy on this is because you can keep the beans in the bottles when you rebottle it, and it will still have good stuff, you know, so that they can just keep adding vodka and replenishing it if so they choose, or it can keep creating a stronger vanilla flavor as it ages, which is always fantabulous. I know, you're just like, is she going to cut off her finger because of her arm? You never know. But, so I'm doing that. If you want, you can absolutely cut them in half also. I'm straight up being lazy. Okay, there we go. And now, so we have 4 beans per pint jar, okay? And we're going to force them into submission down there. And we're going to get the vodka. Same space. I'm going to put just as much in there. So it comes down to 2 cups of vodka. Because it's a pint jar. Yes, it is. And dun, 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 I'm out of used lids. So we're going to put those on there. And now comes the fun part. Typically, we would take these, we would seal them, we wouldn't leave them on loose. We'd put them in a dark closet someplace and forget about them. Okay. But normally it takes 6 months to let that do its due. But no, no, no. So like I said, I'm in an Instant Pot. This is just an Instant Pot. No, you cannot pressure can in these. Okay. And just stop. Anyway, so we've got those in there. I have water in the bottom. Because it is an Instant Pot, right? Water has to be in the bottom. But also I have the rack in the bottom. I had a canning rack that fit in here because I have no idea what I did with the rack that came with it. But your Instant Pot comes with a rack. You want that in there. These should not ever sit right on the bottom. It's not a good practice, okay? So we are going to get set up here. It is plugged in. You're going to pressure cook. That's the button you're going to hit. Okay. And you're going to do it for 35 minutes. It's on. And you're going to let it do a natural release. So that's why I say you get it done in about 2 hours, because it's going to depend on the size of your Instant Pot and, a few other factors, I'm sure. But with a natural release, it's going to take me at least an hour before I can move forward with this when it's done. So in about an hour and a half, I will be back and I'll show you what we do with it from there. Okay, we are at an hour and 15 minutes, and I have no idea if this thing released naturally or not. So we're going to find out. And if it didn't, I'm okay with that. That could also be why I have a little siphoning issue. But, yeah, I'm running out of time. So I would still let it, especially if you've got a smaller, this is huge, I would still let it do its thing. But it definitely siphoned because I can smell it. And if you do the coffee one, I'll tell you right now, it's not going to smell super great until you open the jar. And then it is ambrosia. I'm not kidding you. Okay. So I have, there we go. Oh yeah. Okay. That, I'm wondering what happened. But we're going to see, because, if I'm going to make a mistake, I might as well do it on camera. Let's get my jar lifter out and my towel here. Oh, I see. Yep. The chocolate one siphoned like its life depended on it because it's all on the top. Okay, but that's okay. I'm missing, a little bit. And this is a vanilla one. How can I tell? Okay. You see how dark those got, right? And here's another chocolate. And another vanilla. Okay. Now we put 4 flavors in here. This one is the coffee. That one definitely siphoned. Okay. And because I can smell that one. Yeah, the coffee was the culprit. That it was. So I'm thinking maybe it was the beans. I don't know. And then this is the cinnamon. Beautiful red color in there. Okay. And this one. Okay. So these are my 8 jars. Now, let that cool down, but then empty it out. If, while these are cooling off, they seal, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, literally nothing, okay? But they might seal because, it's a jar lid in a jar. Doesn't make a difference. So we're going to let these cool down so that we can handle them a little bit. And then we'll get to straining them and bottling them. Okay, we are back to the mad scientist portion of the video. So when I do this, okay, I take a quart jar because it's just easier. And then you only need 1 canning funnel. And then I put the cloth, whatever cloth you decide to use there. And then I put the strainer on top. Again, 4 jars. This is just the bomb. But either way, if you have a strainer and a funnel that work for you, then that works. So I used this one already for vanilla. And I knew that I would be making more. So I just saved it. Okay. And we're going to strain the vanilla. And it really is just exactly that easy. And it all comes out. Dun-dun-dun. And I mean, look at that. That's vanilla in there. So I will be revisiting that But we're going to do both. But what I want to do is figure out where I put my jars. Okay, so I've got my jars. And I know that I'm going to be putting them, you know, the alcohol into there. So I'm going to put the beans that I used back in there. It will just continue to flavor the vodka over time. It is absolutely phenomenal. There we go. We will grab the other bottle and do the same thing. Save the lids. You can use them again. But I do recommend that if you're going to be making all of the flavors, that you don't want to use, like, say, the cinnamon lids when you do vanilla, you know, because you don't want that flavor to transfer over. Okay, so that has done its magic. Always have an extra jar just in case. And then we move on to our funnels, because funnels are fun. And this is actually my trickiest and messiest part, because of my arm for the most part, but also because I'm just a klutz. So you're going to pour it in there. And if you get a light behind it, you can see it, you know, when it's full. You don't want to get it to the top, but you want to get it pretty close because, well, a good gift is full, you know? Okay, and so we're going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to be making more vanilla. Okay. That one's a little full, but I made it. So as you can see, I mean, the bottles didn't take all of it, but all of the beans are in the bottles. Yeah. So what I will do is I will end up saving beans from future ones to add into these. See, there's even a teeny tiny bit of, vanilla on the bottom of that. Oh, yeah. Okay. I hate leaving any of the vanilla behind. And so I kind of just rinse it around until it ends up predominantly where I want it. Okay, so that's some extra vanilla. And then there's this. Now we're going to cut a new piece of cheesecloth, because I didn't save any of the other ones. You don't need a whole lot. You can literally get it from the hardware store, I swear. But I will leave a link down below, because I also get it from online, because sometimes it's just easier, you know? Okay, now we're going to make this one the catch-all. And I'm going to put this one here. Just lay that there. Lay that there. The little bit of vanilla that's on here is not a deal breaker when it comes to chocolate. Okay, so this is the chocolate. It's got cacao nibs in it. That is how we made it chocolate. And oh, I'm telling you, that is just amazing. Okay, so we're going to dump all of it right there. Good stuff. So these are the cacao nibs that I used. I'm going to do another batch with these same ones to see what kind of consistency I get with it, because that is thick. I mean, it's not chocolate milk, but it's kind of an adult chocolate milk, if you know what I mean. It smells amazing. Have you ever tried to buy chocolate extract? It's insanely expensive. Okay, so where'd the other one go? This is the other one. I will be overflowing with cacao nibs here very shortly. Okay, but that's okay. That's all good. So we're going to let that drain. And I have a cup. Phil actually picked me up 2 more bottles. Okay. Because when I go full on chaos, I go full on chaos. So I know that I have, yep. Okay. So these are the ones that I made before. Okay. See, I did, like a third of the jar was the nibs. And these ones sealed. And so I'm going to, there we go. Okay. And I'm probably not going to strain. Come on. I can strain it all the way. Live on the edge like everything else, Lise. Okay. And I still have one more. Can she do it? Because can you ever have too much chocolate extract? Please Don't be silly. Do not be silly. I mean, it's chocolate. It's amazing. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit and because it's drizzling out a little bit. And I'm gonna move these out of the way because I will be reusing them shortly and making more. Because I threw out the lid to this particular bottle of vodka, one of my finer moments. So now I have to use it. And if I drank, that'd be one thing, but I don't drink. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. So now I have an extra bottle. These are great for dimes. Yes. You can get a ton of dimes in there. Okay. Now I need to find another catchment. Okay. So we're just catching this cat. Oh, you know what? I can just use this. There you go. Don't overthink it. Okay. So now we are going to bottle up the amazing and wonderful chocolate. Okay. And I'm not going to leave. I could. Okay, I will. Thank you for helping. I'm going to put just a little bit, tiny bit of cacao nibs in there. Okay. So I'm going to fill this pretty full. There we go. I cannot begin to explain to you how heavenly this smells. So good. Okay. And the fun part that you may or may not know, and I guess I didn't totally grasp it, was that by putting this in the Instant Pot, you're not getting rid of the alcohol content. The alcohol has to be, it has to evaporate. And because it's in a closed container, it doesn't evaporate. So this is just as potent as when you put it in there. Okay, let's see if I can do this without making a full-on mess. Okay. Nope, probably going to have to make a full-on mess. These funnels are so old. They are, how old are they? They are so old that they're bent. Okay. So I will work on getting some in there. You just want a little bit. It's just to go, hey, this is chocolate. You know, no other purpose really. Aesthetically, you don't have to do it. It's what I do to make sure I don't forget what I'm doing. Okay. And then you put these on and you keep track of them because they are not vanilla and you don't want to mix them up. Okay. And I will be coming back to this. I might as well just put it in a bottle. Thank goodness I got 2 funnels. Okay. Look at that. So it filled it up to here. Okay. Go on. There you go. And so I will put those there so I don't forget that they are cacao. Okay. Cacao? Okay. Yes. Okay. So now we are going to do the coffee. I'm telling you, this is going to blow your mind. Since I'm going to be doing more vanilla, I am saving the cloth, the cheesecloth, because, I mean, I just hate wasting it all, you know? But I do want to cut another piece for the coffee. Even though there is absolutely no issue with pouring the coffee through the ones that the cacao has been on, but I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. So, and how I'm going to do that is with a whole nother strainer. Okay. When all else fails, just do what you can. So now we're going to do the coffee. Okay. That is rich. And remember when you are shaking these around and doing goofy stuff that they're not sealed tight most of the time. And so that is some dark brew. Yes, it is. Some potent stuff. And I'm telling you, when you pull it out of the Instant Pot, it doesn't smell that great. But when you pour it into the jar, serious ambrosia. I mean, look at how The coffee is all on that jar. Oh, so good. I am staining all of my white towels. Okay, so we're going to give that a minute. And then you do the exact same thing. I have bottles. You make little labels. So cute, right? You make little labels and put them in there. And you have coffee extract. Good stuff. Stick with me to find out how to use it. Now, full disclosure, I'm doing this kind of fast and furious because typically I would not mix different batches for the sole purpose of just sanity, you know. But I wanted to show you all 4 of these and how awesome they come out. I wish we had smell-o-vision. I really do. I'm cutting some more cheesecloth. Okay. And, okay, there we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, so now we're going to do this cinnamon. Oh, you guys. First of all, that color. Oh, that color. This smells like a red hot candy. Absolutely does. So good. And here we go. Now, obviously, you know, what's flavoring it is much less volume than the other ones. And so I got a full quart out of this because life is good. So now I'm going to grab bottles again. And I think we'll be filling 4 of these. And so I'll just get it all out here. Okay. And we will move this here. And then just, the hard part for me right now is using my right arm to hold it. So I am starting to shake a little bit, but we will get this done, okay? You want to hold the funnel up so that the air flows, and that allows you to fill it better. Wow, that is potent, man. That's like burning the eyeballs. Now, if you want to, oops, yep, leave it to Lisa. If you want, you can throw a cinnamon stick in there. You don't have to. It would be solely for decorative purposes, okay? And I am not feeling decorative at the moment, so there we go. Come on. Oh yeah, I made it. Look at that. Can you do the last little bit? Okay. Ta-da! Okay, and so now we have cinnamon extract. Yes, we do. So good. And I mean, it's just that easy, you guys. It takes, you know, if you want to figure everything into it, put aside 3-4 hours, but then you have your extracts. What's in this one? Oh, vanilla beans. Okay. Oh, I'm going to go ice my shoulder. I am. Okay, so I got to clean up my mess. I got to ice my shoulder. Imagine giving away a basket with a bottle of each of these, or a bottle of 1 or 2, you know. They cost hardly anything at all. They make a ton. The ingredients that you purchase will make a literal ton of these. So good. They never go bad. They last forever. And the really cool part is I made you a little template that you can cut out and put together that creates Extractly, which is my little handle for extracts. And it has chocolate extract, when and how to use it to intensify in chocolate, in baked goods, you know, and tips for when to use it, and different things that you can use it in, that is baked goods, that is not baked goods, that is meats, that is drinks, beverages, that kind of thing. And then how much of it to use also. And then the next one is for the coffee and everything that you can do with it, and so on and so on and so on. It will have 3 of these cards per page, okay? And you just cut them out. I printed them on craft paper and cut them out, and I'm going to make a little booklet to give away with each set so that whoever I gift them to will have all of the information for using them. These are 4 highly useful, delicious extracts that you can make for pennies on the dollar, because half the time you can't even find the commercial ones comparable. These are much better quality. I mean, did you see that chocolate? So good. So I hope that you will check out the download link down below. All of the good information there. If nothing else, you can just retype it into however you want to do it. But I'll have all the links for everything down below so that you can do this too. Because if you meant to do it and you didn't get it done, and now you really are kind of kicking yourself, this is the time to throw it together, and you've got a great, heartfelt, homemade gift for anybody that you think that would enjoy them. And don't forget to make a set or two for you, because you're special to me. Until next time, everybody, be safe. Keep stacking it to the rafters, my friends.